Hello there. My name is Sarah Jenkins. Welcome to another Poetry Deep Dive today. I love Denis Martindale. He has written over 3,700 poems for the Poem Hunter website. Denis Martindale has written a new super-duper poem, and the title is The Legend of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. A Google search provides details of their origin story and film and TV series appearances. Here is what the brand new poem's message shares with us today. Section 1. The Winged Lover's Cursed Fate. When we think about superheroes, we usually picture incredible strength or, lightning speed. But with Hawkman and Hawkgirl, their story is actually rooted in something deeply emotional and really tragic. In the poem, we learn these two lived, met, and fell in love, and they thought it was this profoundly precious gift, like more than enough for just one lifetime. But as the source material reveals, that love story was violently interrupted by dark magic. It kicks off this absolutely inescapable cycle. First, the magic spells are cast, placing a terrible curse on the lovers. Second, they get to live and experience that deep love. But inevitably, step 3 hits. They are forced to say these heartbreaking farewells. And finally, step 4, death is reversed. They don't just die and find peace. No, they're reborn, completely thrust back into the world to start this agonizing loop all over again. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute core tragedy of their whole existence. Martindale captures it perfectly with this poignant line, "To live and love, then say farewells, before death was reversed." Just imagine the emotional toll of that. You find your soulmate, the exact person who makes your life complete, only to know that your destinies are literally rehearsed. Your time together is always borrowed. You have to endure the pain of losing them over and over, century after century. It's a beautifully heartbreaking concept that really grounds these larger-than-life comic book characters in some very human vulnerability. Section 2. Blind Man's Bluff Across Time. Because the curse doesn't just neatly resurrect them side by side holding hands. That would be way too easy, right? The reality of their reincarnation is actually much harsher. When they're reborn into new lives, they don't immediately know who or even where their partner is. They're dropped into entirely new eras, given new identities, and are completely separated from the one soul they're destined to be with. As the poem tells us, each time the male character is reborn, he really struggles. He's actively seeking out this immense love that he vaguely remembers feeling, but his partner is a total unknown to him. Martindale describes it as being forced to play the game of blind man's bluff, a lover on his own. Such a striking metaphor, isn't it? He's basically wandering blindly through history, reaching out in the dark, just hoping to stumble upon the other half of his soul. It adds this profound layer of loneliness to the Hawkman mythos. Yes, he's a warrior, but fundamentally, he's a lonely lover endlessly searching for his lost match. Section 3. Memories Restored, Love Reunited. Thankfully, it's not all sorrow and separation, because eventually, that terrible game of blind man's bluff comes to an end in every single lifetime. Fate, or maybe just the sheer magnetic pull of their connection, always draws them back together. And when they finally meet again and learn the truth of who they really are, the joys of love unite them once more. The poem really highlights this dual nature perfectly. On one side, you have the curse, the magic spells staying intact, those agonizing farewells, and facing death. But on the exact opposite side of that coin is the blessing, because when they reunite, their memories are fully restored. Their past lives provide this undeniable proof of their bond, proof they just cannot ignore. Like the poem says, they are two lovers who are blessed yet cursed. They have to enact these fates that are completely rehearsed, but their ultimate reward is an eternal love that survives centuries. And this brings us to a really wonderful quote from the poem, "To cherish every change of name with memories restored." Across all the centuries that come and go, love stays as their heart's ultimate reward. Think about what that actually means. They don't just tolerate their changing identities, they absolutely cherish every single change of name. Whether they're Egyptian royalty, medieval warriors, or modern-day adventurers, the specific name just doesn't matter. The core of who they are to each other remains totally untouched. Those memories flooding back are the ultimate victory over the dark magic that tried to destroy them. Section 4. Taking Flight with Legends. Okay, let's shift gears for a second. We've explored the really deep romantic poetry of their origins, but let's look at how this legendary lore actually translates to the screen. Because while their love story is a beautiful tragedy, these two are also fierce, dynamic heroes who've made a massive impact on modern pop culture. Hawkman and Hawkgirl have quite the impressive on-screen resume. Our source material points out that fans have been treated to their adventures across multiple platforms. They were vividly portrayed in the classic Smallville TV series, they are absolute staples in various DC cartoons, and crucially, the Legends of Tomorrow TV series spent significant time really diving into and explaining their complex, reincarnated origin story for television audiences. So they aren't just comic book drawings, they're a living, breathing part of the superhero TV landscape. And what makes them so visually captivating on these shows? Well, they're winged warriors. Each of them has these majestic wings, which means they literally take flight during epic fight scenes. Imagine the incredible choreography this allows for in those cartoons and live-action shows. They bring an aerial dynamic to battles that, honestly, grounded heroes just can't match. They swoop, they dive, they fight midair. It brings a breathtaking, high-flying visual spectacle right alongside their tragic romance. Section 5. A unique superhero legacy. Now, Hawkman and Hawkgirl don't just exist in a vacuum. They operate in a world populated by gods, aliens, and metahumans. So how exactly do a reincarnated prince and princess fit into the wider pantheon of iconic comic book legends? Well, looking at the Justice League lineup referenced in our source material, you've got Superman and Batman, you've got Wonder Woman and the Flash, and right there, standing shoulder to shoulder with these absolute titans, are Hawkman and Hawkgirl. It is quite the lineup. As the source notes, it's not just heroes and heroines side by side, these are superheroes and superheroines, and every single one of them has a super story to tell. Hawkman and Hawkgirl more than earn their place at this table, because their eternal experience gives them a perspective literally none of the others have. And this brilliantly illustrates a core superhero philosophy. Our source material points to a really famous catchphrase, introduced in the Supergirl TV series, "Stronger Together." While that phrase definitely applies to the entire Justice League, I think it perfectly encapsulates Hawkman and Hawkgirl. They are super formidable individually, for sure, but when they find each other across time, when those memories are restored and they take to the skies as a united front, they are the ultimate embodiment of being stronger together. Their bond is absolutely their greatest weapon against any villain they face. Which brings us right back to the beautiful final lines of Denis Martindale's poem dated June 20th, 2026. And yet, their story stays unique, true love that must abide. Even while fighting alongside Superman or Wonder Woman, their narrative stands completely apart. No one else on the team carries the weight of thousands of years of rehearsed destinies. No one else has played blind man's bluff across centuries just to find their spouse. Their story remains wholly unique because it's rooted in this enduring, abiding love that simply refuses to be extinguished by magic or time. Which leaves us with this final thought. Is an eternal, reincarnated love story actually the greatest superpower of all? We marvel at flight, super strength, and lightning speed. But the ability to find your true love, lifetime after lifetime, completely defying a magical curse, to cherish every change of name, isn't that the most powerful force in the universe? Take a moment to think about that, and let it reshape how you view these winged warriors next time you see them on screen. Thank you so much for joining me on this poetry deep dive, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.